I'm very fortunate to be spending time with one of the world's leading visionary thinkers at the moment. His name is Jim Shannon. He's an ex-Vietnam vet, and not only is he one of the most intelligent men that I've ever met, he's also a great guy to be taking on this challenge alongside, you know. He's a great motivator and a great teacher. He's a very warm guy. So, you know, I'm very blessed to be spending time around him, and I've got a lot to learn from him. I'm very fortunate to be spending time at the moment with one of the world's leading visionary thinkers. His name's Jim Shannon, and not only is he one of the most intelligent men that I've ever met, he's also, you know, great company to be around. He's a very warm guy, and yeah, I feel very blessed to be able to take on this challenge with support from people like him. I'm very fortunate to be spending time at the moment with one of the world's leading visionary thinkers.
The thing that's always left out, as far as I'm concerned, is that the big muscles here that change or throw the legs or arms have to be activated in many cases by the hips. So you can use this arm to spin the hip. Spin the hip. If the hip is left out of the kick, it's just like the wrist being left out of the punch, or the snap of the arm being left out of the punch, or the snap of the shoulder blade being left out of the pit. So every snap, every accelerator you have is good, but the hip is the one we think of last. Like, I think I'm going to kick the goal, and it's all about a straight kick. Well, that'd be great for a place kicker. Yeah. But when you can spin your whole body, you're working this arm to work that shoulder, to work this leg, to work that thigh, to work that knee. Fit that you know, snap, 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 pop.
What do you think to the acceleration motion? How's that best described?
The acceleration motion is thinking like a piston, you know, and then keeping this body really pretty compacted, because it's really strong when all of it's working. And until you start to gobble distance, so you get your enough speed with the piston to then, and then you pull yourself. Actually, you're pulling in your second gear, and you're pulling to get more length, and pretty soon you're out and your legs are as far extended, and you're throwing the ground back, reaching up with the knee, throwing the ground back with your ankles. And you're thinking the whole time, keep my speed, and you can increase that sometimes, but not if you're actually trying too hard. When I see sprinters that are engaging their entire neck, it's only when they're making that last push if they're tied up that way psychically, you simply can't, your muscles can't acquire the piston speed. You can't make things faster by doing this. You know.
Not relaxed enough.
You can almost, no. It's you're taking energy away from the legs to put it here even. So in practice, think about the sound. And I want to assume in the first gear that getting the whole system moving is the best thing. Once you get speed up, then you let the clutch out and pull yourself into your flying position, and then you fly, you know, using again, purposeful. This of course is the this is actually the focus point we were talking about for soccer or for football, in the sense that you'll only be going in 30-yard bursts, 30-meter bursts anyway, most of the time. And when you're like just keeping up with the play, then you want to be able to float. And that's what the 200-meter guys practice. They're at 75 meters, they're at the maximum a piston speed. And what they're doing slowly is letting the glide carry them along without exerting full energy. So, and we learned from Zidane that he actually Zidane that he actually elevates his condition. It's almost getting gravity, more gravity or more levity from the ground by running higher. And it's a psychic place too. Like I have dominance over the space, and I'm running, but I'm running in command of everything around me, and I'm not exerting any extra. I'm not reaching. I'm not overreaching. I'm not overextending. I'm not grunting. If I'm grunting, I'm spending unnecessary energy somewhere.
Right.
And then at the same time, imagining the whole time, where will the second kick from now go there that's clear for me and the goal, and I might feel that's right, in which case then I do piston speed back into to get there. So it's interesting, now we're putting the tactics together with the
physical
gearing, shifting, accelerating, like in a sports car, you know. And that's what we learned about the runnings, keeping the legs, the stopping legs in a controlled place instead of a big stop, you know, overcommitted. We never want to overcommit, which is so strange, except maybe kicking the long ball, where you can afford then after the kick to even fall down. But
you still don't want to do that though, do you? You know, you want to.
No, but the point is, you should. Well, for a long kick, the whole secret is in the follow through. The legs should stay up as long as possible. In baseball, they hit the ball and then they concentrate on letting the one arm take the bat out, and they let the bat aim high into the stands. You know. So, and I think at that point, it doesn't mean the guy's going to fall down. I would think shot put, throwing, and discus would be interesting because you're working with the coil. Coil to snap.
Right.
Coil to snap.
To train that, just the mindset.
You know.
I was just thinking while the camera's rolling, you know, what do you think of Zidane's leadership? Like you were saying, he maybe doesn't speak to conserve energy, but do you think that's a sort of wise choice?
I'd say it's pretty good as a physical example of control, because he's always controlled, aloof, he doesn't overcommit. There's an example of those guys that make the extra long tackle and then they pretend like they're hurt and all that. They have no control on their overcommittal. So he is always a model of moving smoothly through time and space. His on-field proactive instruction, as far as I can tell, is tactically is 0. So I give him a 10 in terms of modeling grace. And I give him a 0 in terms of get ready for this, you know, try more of that. Don't worry about this, you know.
Right on. Do you think his mastery of himself has been enough to afford him that status, you know, as one of the best players ever? Is his mastery of that part of the game just been so great that it's eclipsed all those other factors that you see in other great players, you know?
Yeah, but if you could add the Portuguese guy's wild acceleration to his gazelle-like control, then you'd have twice the player.
Right on, right on.
And
Yeah.
you got that one right. Yes, when you have a clear stretch and you want to get somewhere fast, you put every bit of perfection into going just there. And then when you want to make turns, you make turns by using your gear, shifting down with your gear and changing your body weight, never overcommitting when possible, and accelerating out of the curve whenever possible. So both things are true, and they're different.
Right on. And they can both be done.
And they can both be done, and you have to have a gear for each one, and you have to know that where that gear is.
Right on, right on.
Yeah. And so that you can optimize in either case. No matter what gear you're in, you're fully in that gear. And then you're fully in the next gear. And your brain is like 2 plays ahead, back to right now, because the ball's in front of me, to 2 plays ahead, back to right now. So body control and speed and exertion are one whole set of gears. And playing field focus changes completely from I'm looking at this guy's hip to get around him, and now I'm looking at the goal while looking at the place I will intersect the ball, and then hearing the kick behind that I know the goalie is kicking, and going, I don't care where it's going exactly, I'm going to go to this open space where it could go, in which case if I get it, it's over.
Perfect, yeah. Yeah, I love that concept of gears that you talk about. I remember when I first met you, actually, or maybe the first little while, that's one of the things you said to me is about how many gears do you feel you have or something, and I was like,
yeah,
what are you talking about, But to be conscious of the different modes that we play or, exist in, it's pretty cool. Maybe some of these dudes, like Zidane, does he really know what mode he's playing in or what gear he's playing in at that time, or is he just doing it because that's what he's done his whole life?
Yes. Yeah, I think that's true for almost all those kind of questions, but perfection is where you're going, so it doesn't matter. It's yes and what's perfect.
Okay.
What's perfect? In this situation, what's perfect? In that situation. How do I coach Charon differently than I coach Bunil, because Charon is real sensitive about X, but he's really keen to know he's something better. You call him by the name Champ, not the name Charon. It's always an upper for him. So in all areas, you're looking for perfection and never beating yourself up when you're not there, because that'll only keep you from getting into the next proper gear. No self-pity.
Right.
Like,
doesn't exist.
It doesn't pay off. And I was and that's an interesting one too, about self-pity and actually honesty, because if you, for instance, really get knocked down and you try to get up and you can tell something's wrong, don't sit there and make the coach go through a lot of shit. Just say, get me out of here, put a fresh guy in. So unless you need the time for everybody to rest. That one. Yeah, that's real. That's real. But the other real part is, don't think you deserve to be the champion when you're only halfway effective with your right leg. You gotta, and I don't think this is